Hello and welcome everybody to the Super Baka Bros channel and today's stream of Not Enough Time podcast. I am your co-host Angelo, as always, and we have with us the multi-talented and very good-looking Phil. How are you doing today, Phil?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I don't know how to take that one. That's a little. I'm not sure what you're trying to get at. I think I'm just naturally skeptical of you. So
Probably a good thing to do, to be honest with you.
anytime you're complimenting me, I feel like what's your game, bro? What are you up to?
We'll find out by the end of the stream. Anyway, so what we are doing here today on our podcast is we're talking all things Marvel Phase 4. They just, it's been wrapped up for a little bit, but I feel like
You're a little behind.
once they release Black Panther on Disney Plus, like that's the official ending of it because of the fact that a lot of people can see that movie now. I know me included. I did not go to the movie theater to watch. Oh, did it freeze? What's happening over here?
I don't know.
Oh, I froze. Okay, I see how this is.
Well, good then.
Well, nobody needs to see me, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's just
Are you
real
frozen
quick.
in a very compromised pose? That would be.
Yeah, I had government secrets in my hand when it froze. So, but we're back.
Damn.
This happens when I click out of Discord into the OBS.
Oh.
Sometimes just be like, yeah, we're gonna freeze right now.
They're jealous.
They're jealous. They hate us because they ate us. Yeah, I did not see the movie when Black Panther came out. We were having our baby and everything, and COVID is still going on. Not messing around with that. But we have seen all the stuff to see, and we are here to talk about it. We're excited to discuss it with all of you. Please, if you are here hanging out with us, thank you, first of all. And also, put your opinions into the chat. Bakatron is heading to church. Just wanted to show their love. Thank you very much. We got Mom Pa Baka saying good morning. A lot of Bakas here for the Super Baka. I love that. It's all Baka. If you're not named Baka, get the hell out of here.
And you go to church if God has any choices on his, his thoughts on Phase 4. Have him throw them in the chat too.
Yeah, exactly. Drop a prayer and ask what's going on with God's opinions on. I mean, technically, he made Phase 4. He made everything, so
Yeah.
he knows what he's doing.
But as we'll discuss, sometimes maybe he doesn't because.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is the phase. We're not here. This is a recap. This is not a review of the phase. So we're gonna just say that right now. We're not experts by any means, and I just want to say, overall, this is definitely the phase where Marvel said, "You guys wanted us to try things, and we are going to try things." So I will at least give them that. That's all I'm gonna say.
Should we just do a quick kind of thoughts, maybe just a couple sentences each? I mean, it almost seems like it would be a little odd if we didn't.
Sure, I'm down. Okay. I'm not scared. God's listening, so I mean, I'm not too scared.
So obviously, Phase 3, we're coming off of, Endgame, this huge culmination. So obviously, there's a lot of anticipation coming into this. Like you said, them trying a lot of new stuff. So how do you feel now that we're at the end of the line? Everything is out. That's going to come out. How do you feel about it?
Majority disappointed. I feel there's a lot of missed opportunities or places where they really just went kind of over silly at times when they really shouldn't have. But I'm also very hopeful for some of the things that they brought into it to hopefully in this next phase really pay off on. But yeah, there's a lot of misses on this phase, but still a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing too. Like you said, they definitely tried a lot of things, and when you're trying new stuff, obviously sometimes it's going to work, sometimes it's not. But yeah, I'd say I'm pretty 50-50 on the phase in general, kind of, as far as wins and losses.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what happens. I think that they're setting up another really interesting thing. So at the very least, if nothing else, if this phase kind of did what it had to do to kind of get us to where we're going, then I think that. Are you lower than me in the screen?
No, it's just that's my new thing. I'm not going to touch the camera. I'm going to mess with my chair.
Change yourself. Okay.
Yeah. So we're still good.
All right. So yeah, curious, definitely curious to see where it goes from here.
So with that sort of brief overall, this is how we feel about it out of
Yeah.
the way. We're really going to just kind of delve into individual favorite things about the phase, and people watching, please enter into the chat the things that we're talking about. Interact with us. We want to have interaction with our viewers. That's the main reason. I don't like talking to Phil. I actually just want to talk to all of you.
I like talking to Phil. Yeah.
I was going to ask you that. I know this is kind of a big thing going on now where people are realizing that I don't know what percentage it is, but there's a lot of people who actually don't have an inner monologue. And it's like actually shocking how many people don't have an inner monologue. So I'm sure you do as a storyteller, have an inner monologue. You talk to yourself, that sort of thing.
Yeah. That's really a thing.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely a thing.
How does that even work?
I don't know. It actually kind of frightens me that there's people out there that just are like blank with any sort of conversation going on throughout the day in their mind.
I wonder about this because I wonder how much of this is just how kind of and ironic to be saying this on a podcast that's on multiple formats. We're so kind of inundated with kind of entertainment. Like there isn't a lot of downtime. I feel like it's pretty rare that if someone isn't actively doing something that they're not at least looking at their phone.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wonder if that maybe is part of it. People are just so used to having like outside stimulation that they have no need to kind of generate the inner stimulation.
It says 30 to 50% of people have an inner monologue. So there's at most 50% of people, or at least 50% of people who do not have. And in some cases, even more do not have an inner monologue.
Well, it sounds like 50 to 70 don't have, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, minimum 50%. Yeah, that blows my mind. In the chat, let us know if you do have an inner monologue. That is something we would like to know. No judgment here whatsoever.
Apparently we're the minority.
Exactly. That's what's so crazy about that. But
anyway,
you talk about you don't like talking to yourself. That could be a real thing. So I totally understand.
I was gonna say too. We have some things we'll kind of go through, and we talked about kind of throwing in random ideas as they come to our head. We don't want to generally don't like getting too negative, but if you do feel inclined to add at least to the front of any of these, then obviously that's an option as well.
Mamba Baka says, what is an intermoto lodge? I think that's something in Europe. An intermoto lodge is a place you stay at in Europe with a bunch of other people.
It's a lot cheaper than hotels. So.
Exactly. But no, inner monologue. Yeah, I know, wrong spelling. Inner monologue. So like you're doing the dishes and you're sitting there talking to yourself about your day, or things that are going on, that sort of thing. There's a huge percentage of people that actually do not do that. I myself am like multitasking in a monologue, like talking about, D&D stuff, conversations with myself. It's a real thing that is scientifically proven.
I think we all know what your inner monologue is, and it's multiple characters that you've made up having a conversation in your head with like different voices. And they're just, it's not about your life at all. Like they're just having some talk about, should we go into this cave?
That's the only reason why I wanted to play D&D. I have to get the voice. I'm like the polka dot guy from Suicide Squad. Twice a day, I have to emit all of these voices, or it eats me alive, which is probably true.
Yeah.
Mom Paul Baca says all day long I do that. So that's probably where we get it from.
That's interesting. I wonder what the breakdown is on like generations, like if it's more prevalent or less prevalent in certain generations.
Maybe. That's a good point. We'll have to do a podcast just on that.
Today's episode of Inner Monologue.
So yeah, let's go ahead and get right into this. And thank you, Mom Paul Baca, for talking in the chat. We always love to see that.
Yeah.
Bill, I want to have you go ahead and start this off, though.
Sure. I'm gonna be lazy and just kind of start from the top for now, at least.
I think that's especially what the top is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because I'd really like if we can kind of eventually get into very like minute details So maybe we get some of the bigger ones out of the way early.
Sure.
That'll help kind of get us the juices flowing, so to speak. And I'll start off. Should I be asking you, or should I start with my choice?
Oh, let's hear yours.
Okay. So, see, now I have to recalibrate because I feel like it's like being the first one to bring it up. It seems like makes more sense to ask. So I'm curious what yours is, but my
That's good.
So in Phase 4 is the first time we've had the movies and the TV shows. They've kind of diversified. So my favorite movie of the ones that were released was Spider-Man No Way Home. And I feel like it's, we talked about how this was a little bit uneven of a phase. It felt like kind of an obvious choice, so I wanted to try and kind of find something else, but when I really kind of looked at the options, there definitely wasn't any other movie that I enjoyed nearly as much as Spider-Man No Way Home.
It's so funny. I'm looking at a picture of what I think they thought Phase 4 was going to be, and so much of it didn't actually happen. I wonder how old that picture is, but yeah, I mean, it's honestly got to be Spider-Man No Way Home. Overall, just truly an amazing movie, especially the things they did with it. Bringing in the characters back into the franchise, or actually reintroducing, if anything, to the franchise. And also at the same time, not really knowing, I think at this point, what's going to happen with this Spider-Man going forward. It would just be a perfect bookend to that whole story in general. But truly a really a moment of time where it was like literally an event. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
not as much as say an Infinity War and Endgame type of an event, but definitely one where like a lot of people were talking about it.
Yeah, it's tough too because obviously we, there's a lot of kind of fan service in the movie, and we're definitely the kind of target for that. I have like some movie like podcasts and things I kind of follow, who are more kind of like film critics, and there definitely was some dislike for the movie from those people who hadn't kind of been along for the entire ride. So like I recognize that maybe it's not kind of for everyone because it is such fan service, but like I can't imagine there's ever going to be more gratifying fan service than what's in that movie.
Yeah, and if there is, holy cow, that's going to be an amazing experience. If there's something even more, I don't know. I would say X-Men could be the potential one that could do a lot of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So much fan service because there's so many different characters in general.
Yeah, it's tough though because I feel like maybe Andrew Garfield a little bit less, but especially the first Spider-Man series is so well beloved. I don't know if anything they've done in the more X-Men movies is quite as beloved as that kind of Tobey Maguire movies, but
yeah, good point. So from there we're going movies. Let's go TV show. Let's get this out of the way. I feel like there's a little bit less of a punch in the TV shows this time around. But I'm going to keep the trend going where we talk about our favorite first. Excuse me. Because Loki is a part of Phase 4, correct?
Yep.
It's got to be Loki for me. I feel like the experience in that show, the drama, the way that it unfolded, and also at the same time, because so many of these shows or movies did absolutely nothing for the MCU overall, like set things up, whereas Loki really, really did. It's got to be Loki. What did you think?
Yeah, I'd say the same. I mean, it's tough with what you were just saying about kind of setting stuff up. Yeah, it's tough because a lot of the other ones are new characters. So, they're doing a lot of legwork for the character itself. I think everything else, I guess, except for WandaVision, everything else is introducing something new.
See, this is saying that the next Guardians up to Fantastic Four is still part of Phase 4.
No.
That's what I thought. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, were you looking at the one that came out before they canceled James Gunn?
Maybe. I don't know. I need like an official website. I'm looking at images. It's like
Go to
some of these are
Wikipedia,
older.
bro. What are you even doing? Look at images?
Use Wikipedia for your journalism. Wikipedia.
Yeah, man.
You ever see that?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, somebody was interviewing Henry Cavill on like a red carpet, and they were like, "So you play a god, and what was that movie? It was like Greek gods and stuff like that, Eternals or Immortals or something." Forgot he was even in that. And Henry Cavill's like, "No, a demigod." He's like, "Oh, demigod." He goes, "Where'd you hear I played a god?" He's like, "Oh, Wikipedia." Wikipedia. You get your journalism for Wikipedia.
If I was an interviewer and Henry Cavill said, "No, I'm not a god, I'm a demigod," and he gave me shit for it, I probably would just walk away.
What?
Fuck
Why?
what are you're getting all. Anyway, that's fine.
Oh my God! Look at the the venom. I feel like
What the
the
fuck are you
real
talking about?
potential is we got to get Henry Cavill on this podcast to see the
Yeah,
the conflict between the two of you. That would be amazing.
Well, it's tough too because he's obviously a very big, strong man, but he supposedly he's a pretty hardcore nerd.
Some people say no. Some people are claiming that he's not. It's all fake.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like some of the stuff that he's into, I feel like the fake nerds tend to not be into stuff that he talks about being into. Or I don't know.
Listen, for me, if you say you are in Warhammer and you're not a Warhammer fan, that is a ballsy move because there is so much to Warhammer. So I think he is, to be honest with you, especially the Witcher thing.
Yeah, because I feel like if you're not a nerd, but you're kind of trying to pretend like you're a nerd, you're gonna say stuff like, the Marvel, Zelda, like those things are, they feel like they're a little easier to kind of fake being a fan of.
Yeah, you're right. Black Panther's the last.
Yeah. What are you even doing? Doubt me, bro.
TV shows? It does that. Okay, so She-Hulk was the last TV show. Okay, go ahead.
I don't even remember what we're talking about. Yeah. Oh, Loki. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Loki's definitely the best. There's a lot of love for WandaVision. Definitely seemed like, those two kind of stood out for a lot of people. And I like the WandaVision quite a bit too. So how about our first tangent? So, like we said, most of the other TV shows are introducing a new character. It's like a kind of an origin almost, to a certain degree, for a new character. Of the ones that are where they're kind of origin for a new character altogether, which one did you like the most?
Oh, wow. That is tough because you consider Hawkeye to be an origin.
I'd say so.
You know what I mean? Because it introduces Kate Bishop.
Yeah.
That's not my pick. I'm just wondering. Honestly, it's got to be Miss Marvel. Like it was a very entertaining and enjoyable experience. Super fun to watch. The way that they trade the character, the overall presentation was well done and completely different than all the rest of these as well. At the same time, still setting up very important things for the future of that character. So there's better shows than obviously Miss Marvel in this lineup. But as far as like a new character being introduced, I think the best was Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
What about you? I want to get into least favorite show.
Okay.
But no, I want to hear your I want to hear your response to that.
Yeah, I'm looking through it. I thought that the kind of introduction of Miss Marvel might have been the best out of all of them. Looking through these, I feel like I have a similar issue with pretty much all of these shows, where I feel like I really liked it, what they were doing, and the climax of all of them was kind of not great.
Even the best shows, for the most part, except for like your Loki.
Yeah, Loki was pretty strong at the end.
Yeah.
Well, WandaVision for the most part was strong at the end. So that was my biggest issue with Miss Marvel. I feel like I loved kind of everything they're doing, and they got to the end and just kind of, wet fart. I might say Moon Knight. I was a big fan of that one. I feel like the kind of entire experience throughout the entire show pretty enjoyable. And I mean, if nothing else, just seeing Oscar Isaac doing what he did was I probably enjoyed that more than anything else from any of the other shows.
Yeah, his acting was just amazing in that
Yeah.
show. What he was able to pull off with himself and his own scenes was really well done. It definitely suffered from the not the greatest ending to a show, especially it's like two large people fighting each other, and you know, I don't get what Marvel thinks is entertaining for the mass majority of the population, but I don't know. I want to talk about this in like favorite scene. I don't think we have that, do we?
Oh, let's throw it in there.
Yeah, but there is choices in movies that Marvel does where it's like a copy of other movies, especially the endings where it's, you know, hero against villain who's just like the hero, and it doesn't really do it for me anymore. What's up, Family Gaming 2013? Good to see you here once again. Love to see you in the chat. But for me, okay.
Supposedly that's something that, you know, we've kind of heard a little bit about from, you know, directors who've worked in the MCU, that, you know, they kind of let you do what you want, but there tends to be the places where they kind of step in and kind of, you know, make you do what they want tends to be like the endings. Like they always have to be kind of like these big spectacles, and then you just kind of generally throughout, like with a lot of the action, like they're kind of mandating a certain amount of kind of crazy spectacle and everything.
Yeah, and it's kind of always going to be that way, unfortunately, for the most part.
Yeah.
But it just sucks because you would hope that you'd
have
a little more control. I wonder with the whole James Gunn stuff, DC, if he's going to have, you know, give the directors a little more freedom to do that sort of thing.
Yeah, I bet they let him do whatever he wants.
They're going to have to, because DC is in trouble. Goddamn.
Oh, in DC. Oh,
yeah.
We'll see. I mean, he's the boss, so yeah, he.
As I mean, like, he's experienced that first thing with Marvel, like being hey, doing this. So hopefully he can understand that and give some freedom to an extent. Maybe, you know, crazy director come up with some crazy idea.
I mean, based on what we've heard, it sounds like he won't have to worry about that, because he's just going to write and direct everything that comes out from DC. So it won't be a problem.
He's all telling himself how he wants it.
Himself notes.
So I want to get into this before I forget, because we don't have it in here. His favorite scene out of Marvel movie in the Phase 4, and I'm gonna cheat and say 2, because there's 2 instances where they really went against the type of what Marvel's been doing, especially for like final confrontation sort of thing. First one I have to say is Loki. The 3-way conversation with Kang, and if I haven't said this at all, actually, before we started going, nope, that doesn't work. Hold on a second. Does this work? Nope, nothing works. Spoilers, everyone, for what we're talking about. I didn't say that at all, but definitely going to be talking spoilers here. My spoiler overlay thing is not working for some reason, but it's fine. The end conversation with Loki, Kang, and Sylvie, right?
Yeah, Sylvie.
It's got, honestly, for me, is like one of the most entertaining conflicts and resolutions to one of these franchises in a long time. The acting was great, the dialogue was super entertaining, and I enjoyed it. I think that's something that Marvel needs to look into more than just, you know, big old fight until the person is beat down and then arrested. Or, I mean, they don't really do death too much in any of these movies where like the person gets killed, unless that person somehow kills himself. Looking at you, Warmonger, or whatever the hell your name was.
Yeah, killed. Oh, Warmonger. Yeah, I feel like the few deaths they have tend to be the villains themselves. I think, especially early on, they were killing off so many of their villains.
Yeah. The second one though, and I know this is kind of cheap because I just watched it. The ending to Black Panther, the final like fight between the new Black Panther and Namor, and it's funny because like Namor said his name totally different.
Namor.
Yeah, than even the other people in the movie. There, it was like, my name is Namor. You bitches keep saying Namor, and they're like, yes, we have to stop Namor. Fuck you, Namor.
That's why
I'm gonna say it the way I want it.
Yeah, that's the whole reason that they were fighting.
Yeah, they had no problem with each other except for name pronouncing. The way that it wasn't, and you can't kill Namor. You can't kill him off, but the way she was going into like, I'm gonna kill this dude, and kind of rightfully so, even though she really like, it's hard because man, she really was losing me throughout that movie at times, but it's justifiable her reasoning to want to do that, but the way it was resolved, I'm happy to see it. How about you? What are your favorite scenes?
Yeah, this is tough. I'll probably cheat as well. I mean, I'm trying to stay away from Spider-Man No Way Home.
I know, but that's some of the most gratifying scenes.
Yeah, I mean, just, like every scene with the Spider-Man.
Pretty good.
Was amazing. I think I feel like most of the time when I'm watching movies or TV shows, I feel like I tend to be a little bit ahead of it. In that
You're predicting.
Yeah, like I can kind of see what's coming a little bit before it happens. But I remember when I was watching No Way Home, and it was kind of they were on the rooftop and talking about like their Uncle Ben's kind of thing. And I think that moment was the first time I realized that what we were experiencing was his origin story.
Yeah.
And it kind of caught me off guard. It was like, oh, like I didn't kind of see it before it happened. That kind of thing doesn't happen to me that often. So it felt nice to kind of be caught up in the moment.
Super satisfying when that actually happens too.
Yeah. What else? No. I don't know. God, I had another one, but I can't remember what it was.
Not to go on a different tangent, but to say what you were talking about, how predicting stuff, that's what kind of ruined Glass Onion for me. Was you could really predict what the hell was going to happen in that movie. It's still entertaining though.
Yeah, he's doing a few more of these.
Yeah,
and he definitely went very untraditional with the way he approached the murder mystery. So I think that knowing there's more made it easier for me to enjoy it, because we'll likely get more kind of straightforward kind of murder mysteries. But yeah, it was definitely
Many other favorite scenes of anything?
Damn it, I thought I had another one. I'll stay with that for now. If something comes up, pops in my head,
yeah,
I can chime back.
Come back to it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you said you wanted to kind of get into this, so again, before we kind of forget, what was your least favorite TV show?
It's tough because there's the obvious that everyone kind of dumps on, and I don't want to say that. I think a lot of people just shit on She-Hulk like crazy, because of how silly it was, and for whatever reason they might throw out there. I enjoyed She-Hulk, to be honest with you. It did get ultra silly at times. That is She-Hulk, her breaking the fourth wall and saying all kinds of funny things. And I think the portrayal of She-Hulk, the actress, did a really good job. It's probably not my least favorite, though.
What is? I do feel like the TV shows were a bit stronger than the movie. Like there were fewer kind of duds in the TV shows than there were in the movies.
Fuck, maybe She-Hulk is, just looking at the lineup here. It's a Yeah, I'm gonna have to say She-Hulk just by the lineup alone. If I'm being honest with yourself, definitely worse than WandaVision. Falcon, Winter Soldier worse. Loki worse. What If? Maybe What If. But there's some moments in What If that I really did enjoy seeing. Hawkeye, I think is a better show. Moon Knight for sure. Miss Marvel, yeah, it's She-Hulk. She-Hulk is the least favorite show. I mean, I'm not trying to be, cis male incel or whatever, but that's my fucking opinion.
I mean, I think that's fair. I think, they hadn't, they were trying something different. I feel like there's been times in the past where people have wanted them to kind of do something like She-Hulk, and they said they're going to, but they didn't really quite kind of go all in, but they did with this. So it definitely was a bit different. I definitely feel like that, and one other show, probably my two least favorites.
What's the other show?
I'm going to say What If.
Yeah.
I liked What If a lot.
I did.
But again, if I'm just kind of thinking about my enjoyment of each episode kind of as I see them, that was probably the one that I, was kind of least excited about each week for the next one to come out.
Yeah, there was more of like a homework. Like you had to watch it, sort of thing, get it done.
Yeah.
And there were some really amazing moments in those shows too. But there was a couple of episodes were like, okay, I mean that's fine.
I watched it. Yeah, nothing amazing for a couple. And I hate to kind of break it down even more. But What If is special because each episode really is its own story, its own little mini movie. Is it too deep dive to get into the episodes of What If as far as the ones you liked or disliked?
I'm probably
okay.
probably
about What If, so check out well, they probably can't,
it's not on YouTube, I'll tell you that much. But there's going to be more What If, and hopefully they learn from what they've put out, and we get something a little more cohesive and entertaining.
Yeah, but I feel like it's almost going to be natural for it to feel maybe less satisfying, maybe more disjointed, because it is, just kind of random stories. It's kind of anthology with a connective tissue. So it's probably likely that we can maybe have slightly lower expectations for it, just because it is them kind of just trying stuff out or experimenting or just doing random stuff.
Yeah, and we got to give Marvel credit for that, because so many people really have been harping on them to try different things, and they definitely did try this phase, and a lot of it didn't hit, but they've tried it, so they can kind of move forward and really knock this next phase out of the park, because the next phase is very, very important. It's very, very important.
Yeah.
There's a lot of franchises that people have been wanting for a very long time, even when they first announced that there was going to be the Avengers initiative and everything. Everyone was asking what's going on with X-Men. Is that a possibility and that sort of thing? And so now that they have it, and
I don't think
you don't think what? You don't think they're going to make it?
No, I don't think in Phase 4, no.
What do you mean?
I don't think they pop up in Phase 4 in any meaningful way.
No. The next phase.
Or Phase 5. No, sorry. Phase 5, I mean.
You don't think they're going to pop up in Phase 5?
Or Phase 6. I don't think they're going to show up. I think they will drop the breadcrumbs and maybe give us individual characters. But I don't think we get a full X-Men.
Full-on X-Men.
Until after.
Even Phase 6? Phase 6?
Yeah, because Phase 6 is... Phase 5 is already out. The slate's already out there.
Because Ant-Man's the first one, and that's this week?
Ooh, next week?
Next week? Sometime. Very soon, if not.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah.
This phase went 2 years. Mm-hmm. So you're saying by 2026, because Phase 6 is 2024 to 2026.
Mm-hmm. I think
there's not going to be a full-on X-Men movie.
Yeah, I don't think we get a full X-Men movie until after Secret Wars.
Honestly, I agree with you. When you consider what Secret Wars can set up for the mutants in general. But they have already been sprinkling mutants in, at least the word mutants.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's just it. Yeah, they've literally just said the word mutants. They haven't even gotten into anything else.
Miss Marvel is just like mutants, and then cut credits.
Yeah, like I could see there being maybe a couple of random characters, like maybe Wolverine. Well, obviously, Wolverine will be in Phase 6 because of Deadpool. Maybe we get a couple of other.
Does that count though?
I mean, depends what they do with it, I guess. I mean,
because that's the thing. He's not going to be. So he's in Deadpool, but he's not going to be going further on in the mutants. At least Hugh Jackman.
Yeah,
is not going to be Wolverine.
I mean,
forward.
if we're comparing like how kind of deep they've gone into mutants, and our two options are saying the word mutant or Wolverine being in a movie. Obviously, Wolverine being in a movie is a bigger, dive into the world of mutants. But plus, also like who knows if maybe they talk, because I think technically in the comics at least, Deadpool is a mutant.
Yeah.
So like, do they bring that into it? I mean, if we're assuming Deadpool is going to be around for a while and be, kind of a main character, is Wolverine being in his movie part of them using Deadpool to kind of further the mutant agenda?
That's the other thing too. How long is Ryan Reynolds going to be playing Deadpool? He's been Deadpool for a while now. Obviously, nowhere near as much as Huey Jack, but you got to think that
movies, or 3, I guess.
I get that, but the length of time, you got to think at one point that Ryan Reynolds is going to want to hang up those tights.
I mean, especially if the next one does well, and if Marvel wants him to do it, he'll do it as long as Marvel wants him to do it, basically.
This next movie is going to be game busters. It's going to make a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
Did they say rated R or did they say not rated R?
I don't remember. I feel like there's been a lot of talk about that.
Yeah, that's important. That's an important factor as far as what they.
Yeah.
Obviously, nothing like a Logan-esque rated R, but cursing and violence, rated R Deadpool with Wolverine. I mean, take my money. Take my money.
Well, because I think too that'll be kind of a litmus test for fans. Kind of how much we can trust them, because if they don't do it, if they don't take that approach, if they don't do that, and especially now with fans being maybe a little kind of, they've lost a certain amount of trust amongst the fans with this last phase.
Yeah,
I think that would really kind of harm. It's like, well, we can't necessarily expect them to make the right choice. Whereas in the past, they felt like Pixar, where it's like, oh, like everything they do is going to be amazing.
Yep. Spot on. I want to keep talking Phase 5. But first, I like the Sonic music. This rip-off Sonic music that's playing right now. I hope people watching are enjoying it as well. And let's see here. Family Gaming says, this is how I feel. It's Fall Guys locked in a cage. One of the Fall Guys locked in a cage. That's how they feel.
Feel trapped.
And language. Sorry, I cussed. I didn't. Actually, I'm sorry, Phil cussed. If anything, Phil's.
I did,
yeah, I didn't cuss. I've been keeping my eye on it. As soon as I know Mom Pa Baka's here, I'll lock down the language.
All right, fair enough.
But I want to get into a spin-off character. I think that's something that before we talk more about Phase 5.
Well, because my thought with this is that, like, as a character who's not like a main character, it could be like a hero or something else. But like, you get to give them a movie or a TV show, and I want to hear a little bit about too. Like, what does that look like? Like, what does that movie or TV show look like, kind of storyline wise?
Wow, that is a get.
That's one of when we were coming up with ideas for types of episodes we could do for this show. I feel like a lot of the ones I wanted to do were more kind of creative, or I don't know, almost kind of like games. That was one of the ones I wanted to do was I called it Pitch Fest.
I love that idea. My silly answer to that, because I got it immediately, is the costume designer from She-Hulk is making costumes for different superheroes and interacting with them. Maybe they're people that aren't that, actual good superheroes. Maybe they're making costumes for like the big superheroes or whatever. And for whatever reason, like, because Iron Man is gone, they can't go to him to get like good costumes. That was a complete Sonic ripoff, by the way. So much so there is even like the ending sound. I hope we don't get sued. Sega, if you're listening, I apologize. I don't know what that song was. This is supposed to be DMCA free music, but I think we're gonna get sued. But costume designer guy from She-Hulk. I feel bad I don't know that character's name. That would be entertaining, actually.
Yeah, that would be. I feel like that'd be really interesting too, because it could have a pretty similar tone to the She-Hulk show.
Yeah.
And each episode could be a different hero. Like it'd be, he'd be kind of caught up. He'd be making clothes for them, but he'd be kind of caught up in whatever's going on.
Yeah,
they have going on. So and especially with him not being a hero,
not at all. Yeah,
it'd be interesting to kind of see, what that would look like.
Nice. What's yours?
I don't know. You didn't give me enough time.
Okay, that was my kind of silly one that I just, I'm that good. I just kind of popped it off the
head. That was perfect. See, now I feel bad because I don't think I'm gonna have one as good as that.
That's awesome. The other layup answer would be Korg and Meek. I think that would be an obvious one from Thor: Love and Thunder. And I don't want to talk too much about Thor: Love and Thunder because of just that movie just sits weird in my stomach, like spoiled milk.
I just rewatched it recently too. So
did you really? Why would you do that to yourself?
Especially with the first experience. I feel like I wanted to kind of rehash it. We've been planning on doing this episode for a while, so
yeah, true. This is a months in the works. That's true.
Yes. So there were a couple times where I wanted to kind of get back into things, kind of reassess.
My real answer, and I'm dead serious about this, and I don't know the character's name, and I apologize, but Camille Nanjiani's in the Eternals, not him, his assistant. Him go throughout the years because he meets him when he's a lot younger or whatever, and he then finds out that he's obviously immortal, or not immortal, but he's but like him helping Camille. What the hell is that character's name?
Which one? Camille Nanjiani's?
Yeah,
I think he's Kingo.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think so. But helping him through the Bollywood, is that how you say that? Yeah. Business. Like that would be entertaining as hell.
Yeah, damn. You're just killing me, man. Your answers are all much better than anything that keeps popping up in my head.
Fucking hire me, Marvel. We're sitting right here.
We're just sitting around not doing anything.
Exactly.
The first one that came into my head was Namor.
Yeah, man. That's such a good character.
What they do with him. And I thought they said, okay, so in the past we were doing kind of episode of the podcast about each movie or TV show, and I think we're probably going to get away from that.
Yeah.
You've just seen Black Panther, and obviously it's the most recent one that came out, so I don't feel bad about kind of getting into it a little bit. How do you feel about Namor in the movie?
I liked him a lot. It's tough because he in the comics is such a it's not even anti-hero, it's kind of straight up villain at times, but he skirts that line because when a bigger threat comes, he'll step up and obviously have to protect everyone because it'll affect him as well. But they did a really good job. The origin of Namor, and the actor, the way he portrayed him, the scene where the Queen is he attacks Wakanda and he goes, "Mourn your dead" or whatever. You are the Queen now. Seriously, man, that was so badass. Some scenes in that movie were just that sort of reaction. I was like, holy shit. I'm super excited to see what they do with him because of the fact that at the very end of it, not to change my tone completely, but
You did.
I did. Yeah, sorry. The way that Namora, the female, God, I can't even say the name of the people that they are because they're not Atlanteans.
No.
But she was like, why would you do that? Why would you bend your knee to them? And the way his reasoning was so fucking brilliant language.
That's our next emote.
Yeah, it's got to be, I think. Like seriously though, it really is, because it not only makes sense for the character, but it also sets up very important things in the future. So, how did you feel about Namor?
I probably won't say too much because I feel like I'll just kind of echo everything you said. Like sometimes the costume design, like they went very comic accurate, and I respect that. There were some times where it looked a little goofy, but but other than that, I mean, the way they portrayed him, the actor, I mean, they made winged ankles.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you think that grows back, by the way?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, because I mean, why would you kind of give it to him and then just take it away? Plus, there's only one of them. Like, if like somehow she kind of damaged all of his wings, it'd be like, okay, like they wanted to kind of say they did it, but then not have to do it again.
Yeah.
He was a little OP for me, but
he was extreme. I mean, he is an OP character in general, but yeah, in this movie, he was like, even because they were talking about that, they're like, all right, we got to get the Black Panther back. Okay, even still, we got to weaken his ass, even if we have the Black Panther. And it's like, God damn.
Yeah, so I kind of wish he was maybe a little bit, because he was pretty on par for the comics, but again, it seemed like it's a little too much for this world. But other than that, yeah, I like what they did with him. One other guy came to thought for another potential spinoff. It seems like they're calling him Classic Loki.
Oh hell yeah.
Because for him, I feel like and it's tough because for a lot of these, I keep thinking of like kind of prequels. But for him, like you start the movie when he is it when he falls? No.
Yeah, when what's his name? Thanos comes, isn't it?
Yeah. And he kind of just goes, I can't remember. But,
yeah, he acted like he was actually there and died, but he didn't, and he just like left.
Yes, yeah. Like, start from there, and just seeing him kind of, by himself for a while, and then eventually he ends up kind of being a person and kind of joining all these different Lokis together and kind of dealing with the whatever that word was called that they were in. That'd be fun. I feel like that might work better as like one of those Marvel special presentations.
For sure.
Like a little 45-minute movie or something, but
I love that idea. I think that's actually one of the most like thoughtful, interesting spinoffs. But I think if we're not being cowards and really going all out, Crocodile fucking Loki is the one that everyone wants to see, Phil. Let's not be chicken shits about this.
Okay, but if they're gonna do it and language.
Sorry, I'm really going all out at the end.
And not be chicken shits. You do it, and you see him in his world, where Asgard is full of crocodiles, and you have Crocodile Thor and Crocodile Odin, and you have them kind of talking to each other in crocodile, and you have subtitles. Like,
yeah,
you do it, and you go all out. You do it. You can't chicken out on this.
Yeah, it's not them like talking and you hear them in English. It's the crocodile speech. And just do a what if. Just do a what if. It's happening to you. You just found out something horrible happened.
I don't know. There's like a little video in the corner of the web browser, and it was playing a clip from something. It was I think it was Walking Dead. There was like a tiger biting on some dude's neck.
That show's still going?
I don't know. I've watched one episode, and it was the most hated episode in the history of TV, apparently.
Was it the Negan episode?
Yeah, you showed it to me.
Yeah. Just about. That's where I stopped watching, actually. And speaking of zombies, we are definitely going to be discussing The Last of Us in the future. Full disclosure. I know Phil and I haven't talked about that. We are absolutely talking about that show.
Yeah, I'm watching it. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. We love that show. He was on Saturday Night Live last night. Killed it. Some of the best stuff in years, Phil.
I gotta watch some highlights.
He did a Mario Last of Us spinoff as if it was a new TV show by HBO. Him giving the "It's a me Mario" line gave me chills.
Is it a animated movie?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty badass if they ever make that show. I'll tell you that much. Before we get out of here, though, we need to talk about the anticipated Phase 5.
Okay. Is there anything else?
we need-
Yeah, because I figure that's the best one to kind of end on. So, is there anything
For
else
sure.
you really want to get into?
We did
Oh,
at
wait,
least.
I feel like
most
New
favorite.
Hero.
We did that, I thought.
No. Like,
What did we do?
You did lots of things. I don't know. Yeah, because I didn't give my answer. Or supporting. Okay, rapid fire. Like
Sure.
no context.
Sure.
Best supporting character, like not a hero, but a supporting character. It's got to be Mobius.
Wait, who?
Mobius.
Mobius from where?
Loki.
Oh shit. Yep. Okay, fair enough.
Right?
Yeah.
Mean, come on.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
that man doesn't ride a jet ski before the end of all this,
Yeah, I'm gonna be pissed. That's
Turning it
true. We're
down.
gonna riot.
yeah.
Okay, agreed. Full agree.
All right, how about you? New hero. With like the actual, like, person that could be Avengers.
American Chavez from Doctor Strange. I think that's got a lot of potential there.
I'm gonna cheat.
about you?
I had two answers. I mean, my real answer is probably Shang-Chi. But I like Miss Marvel a lot too. I feel like those are probably the two best like characters for me.
Yeah, I just didn't want to give my another. I thought that's where we're. Or no, new show or introducing new character. That's what we did earlier. That's right.
Oh yeah, that show that introduced new characters.
Okay, there we go. Never mind. You're right.
Anything else we have to get to?
Biggest surprise?
Biggest surprise. It's tough because not much was a surprise because I tend to.
No, I mean, I would say the biggest surprise is how much of a miss this whole phase in general was. That's a big surprise, especially going after Endgame and everything. But
I mean, if you're talking kind of plot, I guess like maybe Spider-Man, the whole thing with the Spider-Man was a bit of surprise.
Yeah.
I found a lot of surprises though.
no, a lot of stuff was telegraphed too.
And
Eternals was very telegraphed.
I don't know if we want to end on a down note, but we didn't talk about least favorite movie.
Well, we'll end on anticipated, so it won't be a down note.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Least favorite movie.
Which again, like I said, it seemed like the movies were definitely a little bit weaker than the TV shows.
I honestly gotta say Thor: Love and Thunder, man. Even more than Black Widow, because Black Widow is not a good movie.
Those are the two worst, right?
Yeah, it's got to be those two. And I'm not even a massive fan of Eternals, but the way that it was shot was so beautiful. And there's like a lot of simple things you could have done with Eternals to make it a lot more cohesive and entertaining, like giving all that backstory stuff and then going to the future instead of going back and forth. But there's not much with what they did with Black Widow that can save that story. But Thor: Love and Thunder is just a mess of a movie.
Yeah.
It sucks because I love that Thor, and I love the fact they brought Natalie. Like, it's almost to the paramount of Spider-Man 3.
Ooh, look at you.
Yeah, legitimately.
I think it's worse than Spider-Man 2. I at some point I went back and rewatched it, and it's definitely really bad, but it's not quite as bad. I think Thor: Love and Thunder is even worse. There's not a lot redeeming.
No,
it sucks because they went into a lot of interesting things.
Yeah, I mean, Gore the God Butcher is one of the most interesting villains, and they just, God, they made that horrible. And I love Christian Bale.
I mean, the easy fix for the movie is you do the movie that we just got was Gore the God Butcher. No Natalie Portman. He doesn't even go back to Earth. It's just Thor against Gore, and they both die
Throughout the years. Yeah.
And the movie that comes after that movie for Thor is Thor or the Mighty Thor, and then
get Natalie Portman.
She takes over.
I wonder if they attempted like that conversation, and Natalie's like, "I'm doing one movie, so just get me in and get me out."
But,
yeah.
Is there anything positive
about Thor? No.
Well, no, not about Thor.
Good spin-off character. Yeah, let's just get into the anticipated.
How about this? Only one other thing would be the what are they called? Special presentations. What was your favorite, maybe like moments or like just whatever you want to say with these kind of special presentations they did, which I guess they really only had 2 of them, right? So that's why
Yeah, there was
I don't want to
the
do favorite because it's like you're just picking one or the other. But Werewolf by Night and then the holiday special.
if it's gonna be like special moment, it's got to be the ending of Werewolf. By them around the fire talking like that. I love that. I'm just cussing too much now. It's out of control. But I love that. I love those characters so much. I'm a massive Werewolf fan. Shout out to Neighborhood RPG, Curse of Straw. Not to spoil anything, but there's
shout out to yourself.
Shout out to myself. Absolute werewolf action happening here in the near future. Tuesdays at 9. Neighborhood RPG. I don't have that camera set up anymore. I don't think. Let's see here. No, I don't. It's not set up. Okay, we're gone. We're back. But yeah, that definitely that moment is my favorite. What about you?
Yeah, anything with Man-Thing, or no, Swamp Thing.
Jeez, now you got me guessing.
Damn, now I'm forgetting.
No, it's Man-Thing because
Okay, yeah.
Swamp Thing is DC. Yeah.
I mean,
Thing.
anything with him, I really enjoyed that they did it and kind of went in, and just in general, just kind of embracing the violence and the tone. It gave me hope that kind of going forward they might kind of be willing to kind of get out of their formula a little bit. So that was nice to see.
Hell yeah. Most anticipated for Phase 5. Definitely gonna have to bring up the list here. And full disclosure, it very well could not be what is slated to be. So
you think they're gonna be changes?
There's a good possibility. Yes, there's a very good possibility.
What stands out to you as things that are most likely to change?
Blade.
What do you mean? Like push it back?
Push it back, yeah.
Huh? Why is that?
I worry that the tone of Blade is not going to fit in with the rest of the movies in Phase 5, and that they're worried about because the director of it. Oh my God, I'm not going to say their name. I'm not going to even attempt that. From what I've seen, it's talked about it being kind of more dark or not sinister, but along those lines. And looking at the other movies, it doesn't really fit, except maybe Ant-Man. So I wonder if they're going to be pushing that back. I hope not. I really hope not. But that's the only one I feel like could possibly be pushed back even more, especially because it's toward the end of the phase, anyways.
Yeah, I don't see that quite as much. I mean, if anything, I feel like we might be more likely to kind of get a couple of additions. I'm curious to see if there's any fallout to Phase 4 if they decide to kind of change things up. We were just talking about Werewolf by Night, and I feel like it seems as though it was pretty well received. So if anything, that kind of gives me hope that they would be willing to kind of fully embrace. Like,
I hope so.
Having like very kind of unique, kind of specific, kind of tones to some of the different things they do. Kind of diverse.
So what's your most anticipated then?
Let's see. I mean, obviously they're really going to kind of double down on Kang. So I'm very curious to see how they approach that. Because like with Ant-Man, like say Ant-Man Quantumania is the next thing coming out. They Kang the Conqueror. It seems because there's all these different versions of Kang, and it seems like that they've kind of made a point to kind of say that each one of these is one of those versions. So I'm curious to see if the one that's in Ant-Man Quantumania is the one that eventually ends up being kind of the main Kang that they're going against, or is this going to be kind of the Quantumania version of Kang, and maybe he gets defeated. So I mean, it's real vague, but just in general, kind of how they really approach Kang. Although it doesn't seem like he'll really pop up anymore.
No, I mean Loki, obviously, yes, has to.
Those two things so far, at least.
Agatha, maybe. It's probably not.
No, I don't think so.
And Kang is a good anticipated. Like it's the closest thing to a Thanos threat, obviously.
Yeah.
But that makes sense.
Well, I think too, there's definitely people are definitely a little more kind of down on Phase 4, and part of what they've said at times is the idea that they're kind of building towards something, and so there's a certain amount of kind of legwork, kind of groundwork they've had to put down in in Phase 4, and so if you don't start to see like some things coming from that, if King is the thing they're laying the groundwork for, and we don't start to see like things kind of looking better, then people might really kind of get worried about kind of where things are headed.
I can see that. Mine anticipated. I'm going to give you kind of a bullshit answer and a real answer. My bullshit answer is Daredevil. I say bullshit because I'm very worried about it, to be honest with you, as far as like how it's going to be portrayed and the final product of like, I'm very anticipated for Daredevil, but my Netflix Daredevil heart it's not going to be the same as the Daredevil we saw on Netflix, and I feel like I'm just going to get my hopes up, essentially.
I mean, I understand that. I mean, I feel like it would be kind of silly for it to be the same thing. I mean, we got that. Like, it exists. Like, you can watch it.
I agree. It's just tough because that iteration of Daredevil is just so good.
Yeah.
That it's always going to have the comparison put up against it. So, but I know it's going to be a good show. I say bullshit because my stupid mind is just going to keep going back to that.
Yeah.
And look, I'm calling it out myself. Look, that's why I say bullshit. It's me. It's not the show. It's me. Not you. It's me. Okay. My real answer though is Thunderbolts. I'm very hopeful that is going to be as good as it should be.
Yeah, I know, because I know you don't really do spoilers, and this isn't really a spoiler, but there's a lot of speculation as to, like, is this the actual kind of final roster? Is there going to be like a change up, or even just like a Suicide Squad, like second Suicide Squad kind of thing, where there's kind of
look at what comes out before Thunderbolts, the New World Order. So I feel like it's not the final roster, and that we're going to get a lot of change up from New World Order. I'm my fingers are crossed.
Yeah, because in the comics, Thunderbolts are supposed to be like villains pretending to be heroes, but it doesn't seem like they're really doing that. It seems like they're taking more of a Suicide Squad approach.
Yeah,
and even less so, like even like kind of more watered down, because most of these villains aren't really like villains. These aren't people who are trying to cause harm in the world.
Like make horrible mistakes as they're trying to be heroes.
Like they're doing something to their role as a villain was because they were doing something that was at odds with a hero, as opposed to like them being bad people. So I am very curious to see what that looks like. So I mean, if they're not really the Thunderbolts, what kind of approach are they going to take with it?
Wow, the Marvels is in post-production.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
Yeah, a lot of it. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these things come out pretty quickly. I mean, you got 3 movies this year, 3 movies
by summer. By summer, 3 movies will be out.
Crazy.
That's It's February 17th, so a week or so from now is when Ant-Man comes out. Jeez.
Yeah, 2 Fridays.
Exciting stuff. Hopefully they start off strong with Ant-Man. I feel like it is. I'm super scared for Ant-Man, to be honest with you.
I think he dies.
I think he did for sure. The spoilers, I don't say this, but yes, I think he dies for sure. I think that he has to die, and it's the tone that they need to take going into Phase 5 to really give Kang the threat that he deserves. Because, man, if he dies, the internet, if Paul Rudd, sorry, if and I know this isn't the case, if Sir Paul Rudd dies,
can we have an American version of that? Yeah, because there were a lot of amazing people who don't get to call themselves Sir, or I can't remember what the female title is, We need to have like an American version of this so we can put some honor on some of these names.
I'm going to put this into Twitter as a question. What is the American version of a sir, or I don't know what, like you said, the female version? But the America needs one.
Lady. I think it's lady.
Lady. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to put that into Twitter and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Actually, don't follow us on Twitter because that shit is a mess right now. The stuff I post on that is not PG at all. But yeah, if they kill off Paul Rudd, man, the internet is going to hate Kane so much.
Yeah, I think that's what it needs. I think
it does.
We talked about Phase 4 being a little kind of underwhelming. It'd be good for just the MCU in general, especially they're starting off Phase 5 with like, oh hey, you thought Phase 4 wasn't that great? Boom, Paul Rudd's dead. How you like me now?
Oh man, I'm so scared to watch that movie, but it's got to happen, and I hope it does. I hate to say that, but I hope it does.
Yeah.
Most anticipated, Paul Rudd dies.
Because obviously you always enjoy it when he's around, but like they have plenty of other
daughter.
People. No one's really gonna fill his shoes. If I'm kind of thinking about who's left, I guess I don't know. Maybe Shang-Chi could fill his role, like kind of kind of an everyman, kind of affable.
Yeah, I can see that. It's tough. This is going to be a rough first movie.
Yeah.
But I'm super looking forward to it.
Yeah. If you see it in theaters, then I feel like it might be nice to start off with maybe talking about that movie on the podcast, just to kind of start the phase. But we'll see. No promises.
Yeah.
Loyal viewers, but we'll see what happens.
All right. So with that, we're going to wrap this up. I feel like that was honestly a very good conversation about Phase 4 in general. Yeah. People watching, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Really appreciate it. And we will try to keep the language down next time. Family Gaming 2013. We apologize. That's going to be the next emote for sure, is language. Yeah. We got to do that for the viewers. Phil, thank you for talking with me today. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I mean, I do this. I'm only here for your benefit, so you're welcome.
I appreciate it. Yeah. Check us out. I don't want to undersell this by any means, but please, if you have never seen a D&D stream, or if you absolutely have seen one, either case, Tuesday night at 9, Neighborhood RPG, you do not want to miss what we are doing there this Tuesday, starting the Curse of Strahd campaign. Mom Pa Baka, we will get to what we are into here shortly. Thank you. But I have to sell that right now, because the Neighborhood RPG D&D stream is going to be an event that you do not want to miss. So do check that out. Thank you. That's my pitch.
I'm very, it's funny because I get a little bit of behind the scenes stuff. I'm very curious to see the beginning of this episode and exactly how you approach it. I think that could be, I don't want to oversell it, but that could be kind of monumental.
I have done something I feel like that is truly special, Phil. I'm not trying to like oversell myself, but I seriously feel like as a storyteller that I'm really getting to be, this is like almost my final form of storytelling. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if it works out well, we'll do some more of those kinds of things then.
I think we should. I really think, I can't wait to send it, because you're going to see it before the stream. So I can't wait to show it to you.
Yeah, see it during it. Okay.
So, but Phil, what are you into, by the way? You don't know?
You mentioned it just now, from Ma and Pa, and I realized, I haven't even talked about them. I'll say this. I'll say I'm kind of getting back into Breath of the Wild.
Nice.
Like a 10-year-old game.
Is it really?
I don't know, something like that. 26, 2000. I don't know. It doesn't matter. So I've been kind of watching his videos. I think what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to start another playthrough. I've only done 2 playthroughs. I did like the main one, and then I did master mode. But what I think I'm going to do is, because I've been kind of maxing out on my main one, just kind of farming and kind of collecting stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new one. I'm going to complete the plateau and save it, and then I'm going to turn autosave off. And then in the future, I'll have a game file that is kind of finished with the plateau, but nothing else. And then I'll just kind of do whatever. So I can kind of jump in and, you know, I'm going to try doing this today. And so then when I come back, I'm not going to have it, whatever that progress saved, it'll revert back to the end of the Great Plateau. So that's my plan. That's what I'm going to do.
Man, you are a nerd. Oh my God.
That's the other emote we have to do is nerd.
Yeah, that is some nerd stuff right there. That is nerd.
And then the only other stuff I've been into is screenwriting. I'm getting into that. I've got a couple scripts I'm working on right now, and then got some other projects lined up after I finish with the ones I'm working on. And then some woodworking. I'm making some bedside tables for our bedroom.
That's right. I gotta reach out to you about maybe making a TV bracket for the D&D stuff.
Oh yeah. I'm making. I'm probably cutting the wood today, so we'll see how much I get done. I kind of measured it all out and everything yesterday, so that is what I am into. And the Sounders came back, so I'm kind of getting back into Sounders mode too.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you want to talk about it.
I don't.
let's do just a quick thing off stream.
Sure.
Because I've saw a little bit of stuff from like the conversation, so I do want to kind of get your thoughts. So, but
sure.
What are you into, bro?
What am I into? First and foremost, our 6-month baby Lyra is just absolutely my world right now, and truly an amazing human being. I'm so obsessed with that little girl to the 10th power. I literally have her on my phone as my wallpaper, and I just continuously hit the button just so I could look at her during this whole podcast, to be honest with you.
A little distracted. Right?
Yeah, dude, I'll call myself out. I absolutely love that little girl. So a lot of that, and just seeing how much she is growing and developing, and just amazing, like watching that. But besides that, just the storytelling stuff, and not even just for Neighborhood RPG, but for other projects that I'm working on. I have brought back out my scripts and books that I had been writing. I guess one book. And there's not books. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I don't ever sell myself. But there's a book that I've been writing for over 10 years that I'm just not even like really rewriting, but just like coming up with ideas and writing down here and there to potentially start working on again. But the movie script that I have written from when I was living in LA, actually, even that long ago, starting to write on that again, and not any hopes of like making it happen, but just to get the creative juices flowing.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So excited for that. I'm not going to say what that movie is because someone's going to steal that idea and actually make it happen. But it's my Rocky.
Is it your prequel?
Prequel. Yep. Yeah, that's all you need to say. I don't own the rights to it, so it could easily be taken.
You're making a Monopoly prequel. Oh, yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, actually, shit, that would be a good idea. But yeah, that's what I'm into. Just our amazing baby and the storytelling. Nice. You know, getting the juices flowing.
Oh, that's awesome.
With that, let's go ahead and get out of here. I just want to thank everyone once again for joining us and hanging out in the chat and interacting. We really appreciate it. We have no plans for next week whatsoever, as far as what we don't have enough time to really come up with stuff. So it's on
this one. So
yeah, seriously. So it's on par. We'll figure it out. We'll put it in the socials, specifically Instagram, as far as what we're doing. Definitely going to be tweeting about the surname here shortly. But yeah, Phil, thank you for hanging out with me, man. I genuinely appreciate that, and I love our conversation. They're really fun and enjoyable. And follow us on YouTube. Our YouTube is getting bigger. We want to really grow that. So if you're following us on Instagram, or sorry, Twitch, go over to our YouTube and follow us there. I will drop our link in the chat here in a second. Anything else, Phil, before we get out of here?
No, sounds good.
Okay. Everyone watching, please be patient with yourself and others. It's a simple thing you can do to make this world a better place to live in. I try to live that every single day. Fail most days, but the days that I don't, it really pays off. And as always, please stay hydrated. We will see you next time.